Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be joining from. I am HR Funk, and welcome to my High Tide live stream. If you missed the announcement earlier today, I am at the beach in beautiful South Carolina. We are down here for a few days to enjoy ourselves, and then this weekend we're going to take my daughter back for her to start her fall semester in college. So while I'm here, I had some free time, and I thought I would get the computer going and fire up a live stream. And I've got a lot of things that I want to cover today. I've got some things that involve the future of the channel that are going to be, might be kind of a rocky road when we start to talk about that. But I want to talk about some of the things that I've had on recently, some of the videos, and I want to get some feedback from all of you. So I hope you are ready to sit back and enjoy this live stream. And I've got to say, first off, this is just a wonderful location. We are at Folly Beach, just south of Charleston, South Carolina. And it's one of my favorite places to come to. I think it is my wife's absolute favorite place. And if you've never been to Charleston in particular, or Folly Beach, or any of the other beaches around here, they are just absolutely gorgeous. And the nice thing about Folly is it's not as built up or as crowded as, say, Myrtle Beach or some of the other more commercial locations. And it's just a great place, particularly if you have a family that you're bringing and you want to spend some time enjoying yourself, relaxing, what have you at the beach. I can't recommend it strongly enough. Moving on to some of the things that have been on the channel recently. We've had some great videos. I finally, excuse me, was able to get the video, not review, but the walkthrough at the new House of Pain munitions location. And thanks again to Sean Payne for sitting in for an interview during that video. If you missed that, I would highly encourage you to go back and watch that video to get an idea of what House of Pain is all about, sort of the underlying philosophy behind that business, and if you'll pardon the pun, the caliber of the individuals who work there. So again, that video is still up. If you didn't see it, I would strongly encourage you to go back and watch it. By the way, while I'm out here, I am on the deck of our beach condo, and there is a street both behind me and one to the side of me. So it's entirely possible that you're going to get some engine noise, or maybe you'll hear some voices in the background or what have you. And if you look between the little spaces behind me on the railing, you can see the ocean back behind me there. From where I'm sitting, I'm about maybe 150 yards from the surf. So this is a great place. We have a lovely view from here. This is technically, I think, second row because we're not right on the beach. As I said, there's a street right here, but we have uninterrupted view across the beach access here. And there's actually a small public park over on this side. So nothing is ever going to be built there that's going to obstruct our view of the ocean. So again, fantastic place. And I know I'm rambling on and I haven't greeted some of you. I'm just going to jump over here. Chris Snyder is here. Jeff, thanks as always for being here. Ken Kaufman is here. Ben Crane, thanks, Ben. Rich Powers, thanks for joining, Rich. And this just took a jump. And this is going to be hard for me to read because I've got my sunglasses, which also have reading lenses that will help me out here. But I hate to wear the reading glasses or the sunglasses while I'm talking to you, because I think, and you see people do this in videos from time to time. They will wear dark sunglasses while they're talking to everyone in their video. And I really think that hinders the connection you make with the people who are viewing on the other side. So I try not to do that whenever I'm recording a video on the range or whatever, and I go to the part where I'm actually talking to all of you. I try to take the sunglasses off. I take the earmuffs off. Sometimes I forget. And of course, sometimes some of you probably think I'd be better off if I left the glasses on, left the earmuffs on, put a COVID mask on, what have you. But I do try to take that off so that I can maintain that relationship as best I can with all of you. Also recently on the channel, there's been some videos. It's been about 3 weeks or so since my last live stream. And I've had a number of videos that I'm very happy to have been able to produce. Some of them that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I had the video with the red dot sight versus the laser sight. That's something, and I think I mentioned it in the video, that I have been curious about for a long time. So it was fun to finally be able to produce that video. And I think maybe there were even some widely held beliefs that might have been challenged a little bit in that video. I know certainly I saw some things in there that I didn't expect. That's another one. If you didn't see it, go back and take a look at it. Also, recently I announced my new CCW firearm. For anyone who didn't see that, that one is still up. I had the comparison video between that and my CCW handgun that I've had for a long time. That video is still up. Last weekend, I had part one of my evaluation of the Springfield Armory Echelon, and tomorrow is going to be part two. And part two is going to be the range review. If you enjoyed part one and you're interested in that handgun, you're probably really going to want to see part two of that, where I go out and do the shooting and then give my final thoughts on the Echelon. So that's coming up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. There will be a premiere at 8 o'clock, just like always. And as long as I don't oversleep here at the beach, I will be present to be part of the premiere. And what else? I've got a video coming up this weekend. This is going to be another two-part video. It's going to start on Saturday and it's going to carry over to the following Wednesday, that a lot of you have been asking about. It's one that I started back in, I think, February. So this is going to be coming to fruition finally, and a lot of you are going to have some questions answered, rather, that you've had for a long time. So lots of exciting stuff here recently. I've just finished up the series that I was producing on the Real Avid products. And that was one that I think some people might have a misconception of that one, and think that Real Avid was, sponsoring that series or providing the items I was using. That's not the case. I was fortunate that Optics Planet had those items, and they were able to send them to me for review. So that was fantastic. As far as I know, Real Avid really still has no idea who I am. But I was impressed by their products when I saw them at the NRA annual meeting, and I was happy to be able to do that series and showcase some of the items that impressed me. So all of those things going on. There have been some other little things, some of the community posts here recently. I posted one yesterday or the day before talking about, are we seeing the decline and maybe the slow death of the Western firearms manufacturing community? And I was talking about with some of the firearms that we're seeing coming out of the Middle East, coming out of the Philippines, coming out of Eastern Europe, and the quality that we're seeing, the performance we're seeing, and the prices that they're able to produce firearms for, I'm wondering how long Western manufacturers are going to be able to keep up. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not like, yay, no, not at all. I'm concerned. And I know that the market being what it is, people are going to go to where they can get the most performance for the least amount of outlay. And given the prices that we're seeing from domestic manufacturers, from Western European manufacturers, and their U.S. subsidiaries, and what we're seeing coming out of some of these other countries, I don't know. I think it's tough when you look at your hard-earned money and you can get, say, a Canic pistol, just for a name, for $400-ish, or an IWI Masada, same, $400-ish, and then you turn around and you look at something manufactured domestically that's going to be close to twice that price to get the same features and the same performance. And I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that. I'm not happy about that situation, but it's something that I was wondering about, and that's why I put out the community post. And I'm going to try to jump back over here again and read some of these comments. Again, you're going to have to bear with me. Some of these are kind of comical as I go down through here. Rabbi's here. Glad you made it, Rabbi. And a lot of you guys are talking to each other, which is fine. KM asked, what is an American manufacturer? Good question. You can't look at something like, say, Colt anymore and say, yeah, that's a U.S. company, because it's kind of not. And we look at some of the companies that are foreign-based, but they now have U.S. Branches or subsidiaries or whatever you want to call them that are employing Americans. It's kind of hard to split that hair sometimes as to what is a domestic manufacturer or a domestic company and what is not. You look at something like the automobile industry, and Ford Motor Company now is manufacturing cars in other countries, but manufacturing them overseas and bringing the completed automobile back here. Who is benefiting most from that? Probably Ford is benefiting from that arrangement. And yes, for any of you wondering, this might not be entirely 100% Coke Zero in my glass, but maybe it is. Who knows? But this is my first few sips of the maybe not 100% Coke Zero for the day. Moving on to the next topic, and I have been thinking about this for a while. It's been bothering me for a while, maybe I should say. And I posted a comment, this has now been probably close to a week ago, where I said something along the lines of YouTube appears to be once again trying to demonetize me into oblivion. And I always get mixed responses to that. There are some people that believe that this should be done for the good of the firearms community, and I should be making videos just to try to pass on knowledge and further firearms ownership and good firearms practices, whatever. And I understand that to a degree, but what happens is there are costs associated, and I've talked about this before, so I'm trying not to go down too many paths where I've gone before. But in case anybody hasn't heard this spiel, maintaining a production schedule like I do, where I try to produce 2 videos a week, and having quality content that is going to be informative and entertaining, and just something anybody's going to want to look at and get something from, is not a zero-sum endeavor. It costs money to make these videos, everything from equipment to time to range fees to whatever. And if I figure in the time that I spend recording videos and editing videos and all the little incidental costs that go along with this, I lose money on every single video. Now, I recoup some of that from YouTube through the ad revenue. And again, for all of you that understands how this works, I don't want to belabor this point. For anyone who doesn't, when someone who has videos and they're part of the YouTube Partner program uploads a video, we can choose to have that video monetized. YouTube then has to approve that for monetization, making sure that it is acceptable under their ad-friendly guidelines. For the last several years, that's been a battle trying to keep videos monetized. But generally speaking, from month to month, I've had more monetized videos than I've had demonetized videos. And I've had enough of an ad revenue coming in that at least I get something, as I said before, to offset some of the expenses. And some of that money goes to purchase firearms that you see reviewed. Some of it goes to pay for equipment that I use. I just upgraded the lighting that I use in my shop recently. I upgraded some other electronic components. The shop is a constant work in progress. I am always looking at trying to improve how I can record video there. When I go out to the range, constantly looking at ways to improve what you're seeing on your end, improving the sound, which has been a constant, ongoing evolution. I'm finally more or less happy with my sound. By the way, today I am using only the mic that is internal in my iPad. So hopefully you can all hear me well, and this isn't a silent movie or anything else coming across, but I don't have my microphones that I normally do when I'm producing a live stream. So if I seem like I'm not projecting quite as much, or you don't hear me quite as well, that's probably why. In any case, as I said, it's been getting more and more difficult to keep my videos monetized. And when I produced or I put up that post the other day, I made mention that of my last 10 videos, YouTube has demonetized 7 or 8 of them. And I'll wait until that passes before I go And it has gotten to, for the longest time, I tried to figure out what I needed to do to stay within their guidelines. I would change things in the videos. I would include things. I would cut things out. I would try to do whatever I needed to keep those videos monetized and not run afoul of YouTube. And I think I have gotten to the point where I'm just tired of doing that. I am fed up with that ever moving target, and you never know what it is about a video that is causing it to be demonetized. And a year or so ago, I think I was talking in a live stream about the same topic, and I had been conversing back and forth via chat message with people from YouTube, and they absolutely positively will not tell you what it is about a video that causes it to be demonetized. It's akin to me back when I used to enforce traffic laws to writing someone a traffic ticket, and when they say, "What's this ticket for?" handing them the entire criminal code and saying, "Read this," and in there somewhere is what you violated. Might be speeding, might be a stop sign, might be a turn signal violation. You figure it out after you read the entire traffic code. And beyond that, a lot of it is so open to interpretation when you read their guidelines. For example, I had a video, this has been probably 2 years ago, where I was talking about a Western style gun belt that had been manufactured for me that was sent to me as a gift. Beautiful holster, by the way, holster and belt. And I'm not entirely sure a firearm appeared in that video. It might have. I don't remember right off. But YouTube demonetized the video. And for the life of me, I can't figure. There's nothing in that video that is contradictory to their ad-friendly guidelines. And the only thing that I can figure is when you read down through the list of things that are not permissible, one of them is ammunition belts. And the only thing I can think of is somebody at YouTube who doesn't know anything about firearms thinks that that belt that holds ammunition is an ammunition belt. Now, obviously, when I read that, and I think probably a lot of you, we think belt-fed machine gun, that type of an ammunition belt. But apparently in the mind of someone at YouTube, any belt that can hold ammunition is an ammunition belt, and therefore it's something that doesn't meet their guidelines. And I've had other things like that. There are a lot of the videos that feature the use of a red dot sight that get demonetized. And one of the things they mention in the things that are not permitted is an infrared sight. And again, I think there are some people who are just ignorant to firearms who see red and sight, and in their mind, anything with red and sight in the name is an infrared sight. Obviously, it's not, and we all know that are conversant in such things what a infrared sight is, and a red dot sight is not that, nor is a magnified optic or rifle scope, if you will, that has a light up reticle that's red or what have you. And I think sometimes that, in the mind of some folks at YouTube, is an infrared sight. So I think the point that I have come to with the channel and with YouTube specifically is I am not going to try to meet their requirements anymore. That's just all there is to it. I am tired of playing that game. I am tired of people who don't know anything about firearms trying to control what information and what video I'm producing about firearms related topics. My sponsors that I have currently, Optics Planet, House of Pain Munitions, Targets Online specifically, and my channel members who are paying a monthly fee help out phenomenally. I cannot thank my sponsors or my channel members enough for your contributions and the things that you do to try to help maintain the production quality and the level of videos that I produce. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you. And what I'm going to do moving forward is just produce the videos I want to produce. I'm going to upload them to YouTube. They're going to be monetized or demonetized as YouTube sees based on their whim of the day. And if I get to the point where I am just spending more money than I think is reasonable for the videos that I'm producing, that's probably the day that I'm going to produce a short video saying, thank you to all of you for whatever number of years worth of support that you've given me. And that's going to be the end of the HR Funk channel on YouTube. I don't know when that might be. It might be a year from now. It might be 10 years from now. It might be 10 minutes from now. I don't know. But I'm just, as I said, I am tired of playing that guessing game and chasing that monetization in the videos to the point that I think it's beginning to affect video quality. When I have to worry about showing disassembly of a firearm for maintenance purposes, and whether or not that's going to lead to the video being demonetized. When I have to worry about if I'm showing mounting an optic or making some kind of a repair or even an enhancement to a firearm, because YouTube is going to say that's a modification of that firearm and they're going to I'm tired of that. I am just, and if I'm coming across as being angry, I guess I am. Not at any of you, not at all. But I am just absolutely tired of this game. For 10 and a half years, or that's actually not true because I didn't monetize the videos early on, but for probably at least 8 years, I have been trying to produce videos that meet every requirement and are inoffensive to anyone who might want. And for viewers, I am probably among the most inclusive content creators out there because I don't. All I care about is whoever watches the videos gets something from them, and they're going to use that information for lawful purposes. That's color, creed, none of that stuff matters to me. It kind of goes back to when I was in the Marine Corps, and the drill instructor is saying, some of you are light green, some of you are dark green, but you're all green, you're all Marines. You're all my viewers, and I think of you that way. And to the degree that I can meet your expectations in a video, that's what I'm trying to do. And like I said, if it ever gets to the point where it's just financially unsound to continue video production, that's probably the day the channel is going to end. And I do mean end, because I know a lot of you, in a very good-natured way, suggest going to Rumble or suggest going to another platform. I've now had my Rumble channel for about a year and a half. Collectively, my videos on there number, I think I've got, I'd have to go back and look. I don't think I've got 100 videos up there yet. Those videos collectively, in the year and a half that they have been on Rumble, the last time I looked, had earned, I think, $1.80-something. And Rumble won't even send any revenue out until it's $50. At this rate, I won't hit $50 on Rumble for the next 25 years. So when it comes to ad revenue and generating revenue and what have you, the other platforms just do not have the number of views and the potential to earn ad revenue that exists here on YouTube. So again, I appreciate those suggestions. Thank you very much. I know you are all trying to be helpful when you make those suggestions. But the reality is, it just doesn't, the potential for earning ad revenue just does not exist on any other platform the way it does on YouTube. Now, there are channels out there who are making boatloads of money with the videos they have on YouTube through donations over Patreon. There are a lot of the large channels that are making their money on the products that they review. And you will see, certain channels, and I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not, not angry with anyone. I've said this before. Everyone does what they need to do to make their way in this world. I get that. But there are some channels out there, and I've heard some sums thrown around recently for what they're charging for, say, a firearm review or to review a product or what have you. And it's not insignificant. It kind of surprised me, some of the numbers that I've heard. And if companies are willing to pay that to them for reviewing their products, then I guess more power to them. Now, the double edge of that sword is, if somebody is shelling out a substantial amount of money for a review in a YouTube video, they're probably expecting a certain type of review in that video. And if the review doesn't meet their expectations, chances of that individual receiving more firearms from that manufacturer in the future for future reviews are not that good. And I've told the story in the past. Years ago, this was 2015, 2016, sometime around there, I received a couple of firearms for review, not from the actual manufacturer, but for an advertising firm that represented a manufacturer. And I gave honest reviews of those firearms, which were, I would say, 80% positive. There were a couple of things that I wasn't crazy about. I mentioned those during those reviews. And subsequently, I never got firearms from that manufacturer or that advertising firm again for review. And if I were someone who was making substantial amounts of money from my firearms reviews that were being paid by the manufacturers, it would be in my best interest to make sure that the manufacturer got the type of review that they expected. I am not. One of the beautiful things about my relationship with House of Pain Munitions is they are a retailer, and they will loan me firearms, just like the Echelon that's going to come up for tomorrow's video. And I'm under no obligation to them or to the manufacturer to give a certain type of review. I can say whatever I want to about that product, positive or negative, and House of Pain doesn't care. And truthfully, from their perspective, and I have this same type of relationship with Optics Planet, who is also a retailer. If they send me a product and I don't like it, and I say, I don't like this thing, that actually is good for them, because it saves them selling that product to another person and having that person be upset with the product, and then being upset with them for selling them the product, and of course having to go through the whole return procedure or refund or what have you. So it's great for me when I review those products, because I can say whatever I want. and it's helpful to those retailers, because it saves them having customers who are upset with them. So anyway, this was all a long, drawn-out discussion of sort of where I am with the YouTube channel. And again, I don't know, as I sit here, what the future might hold. I might be sitting here 10 years from now and saying, wow, I can't believe that I've been on YouTube now for 20 years. Or I might be sitting here 2 weeks from now saying, this has been fun while it lasted, but I just can't afford to do it anymore. And I don't really have a goal set. I'm not looking at it as, when the checkbook balance reaches a certain point or whatever, that's when I'm going to call it quits. I think it's going to be more of a decision in that moment where, I'm looking at, everything that I've paid out over the course of some period of time, and what that's cost me, and what I'm not recouping. I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see where it all goes. And again, I know I am horribly, horribly neglecting your comments over here. I'm going to put my glasses on so hopefully I can read these. And thanks for the kind comments a lot of you are making. I appreciate that greatly. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate that. Jeff H. Sometimes I also think human-esque silhouette targets on YouTube. Yeah, who knows? Because you look at a lot of the steel targets that many channels use. A lot of them are vaguely human-shaped targets. There's nothing in any of the guidelines that say anything about the targets and what they look like or anything else. Since most of my firearms content has to do with defensive firearms, that's sort of my forte, if you will. And I've talked before about targets and psychological reasons for using certain types of targets and everything else. There's nothing indicating that there's a problem with those, but who knows? Again, it's a constant moving target. I didn't mean that as a pun, but it's just, you know, a constant guessing game as to what YouTube is going to permit and what they're not going to permit on any given day. And let me come back here. Yeah, the shades look good. Thank you. Is that because it's like covering up part of my face, or? And these do have readers in the bottom, so that's why I'm using these things. And of course, that darkens the screen, so then I have to lean up here and try to read it. Yeah, it's hell getting old, folks. Comments about Demo Ranch. Yeah, ignoring the toxic, violent, hypersexualized. And here's a funny thing, and I was watching one of my videos this morning that's demonetized, and it had an ad at the beginning. Now, somebody's earning ad revenue off of that because the company that purchased the ad that was running ahead of my video that was demonetized paid to have that ad on YouTube. I'm not making any money off of it. Wonder where that money's going. Anyway, I digress. The ad that somebody's car alarm is going on. By the way, to all you cops out there, have you ever caught a car thief as a result of a car alarm going off? Do you know of a car thief ever been caught by a car? I hate those things. Anyway, I'm sorry. The ad that preceded my video was a video game ad, and it was showing this video game character machine gunning all this stuff. Barrels were rolling toward the video game character, and people were running, and the character was machine gunning down, you know, video game people. And I'm thinking, so this video game ad is okay, but my video where I'm talking about responsible use of firearms and trying to demonstrate safe firearms handling and all that, set a good example, that's not permissible, but this video game ad is. I see something of a paradox there. Maybe it's just me. Maybe a less aggressive video schedule would lessen the burden. It's not that. I went to the 2 video a week format. Oh wow, probably in 2017 or thereabouts. So I've done it 5 or 6 years now. And the reason I did that, and it actually worked very, very well. At that time, I don't have any idea how many subscribers I had to the channel. I'm guessing somewhere between 10 and 20,000. And I went to the 2 video a week format to try to maintain a little bit more regular contact with all of you. And I patterned it. I've said this before, so please forgive me if you've heard this before. Some folks may not have. I patterned it after Rush Limbaugh's morning update that he used to do. Now he quit doing that after a few years, but if you were a fan of Rush Limbaugh, you remember his show came on at noon. It ran from noon to 3 Eastern every day. But he would do this little 5 minutes, he would call it the morning update at like 8 o'clock in the morning, I think is when it ran. And it would kind of be a little preview of what the show was going to hold in store that day, or whatever thoughts he might have. And he would throw that out there again, 8 o'clock in the morning. And for a long time, I called the Wednesday video my midweek update. In fact, I even called it an MWU for a while. And the idea was to maintain that line of dialogue with all of you, and it worked very, very well. The subscriber numbers increased dramatically after I started doing that. The views went up. I started to have a lot closer relationship with a lot of you who would watch the Wednesday video and make comments. You'd watch the Saturday video and make comments. We established that rapport back and forth to the point that I think I don't think this is a stretch. I think I have a closer relationship with a lot of you than many, many, many content creators out there. I'm curious if anybody else has that relationship, where we talk back and forth. You guys message me. Some of you email me. Some of you I talk on the phone with. We text message back. I've made friends. ERJG 1954. I met him as a result of this. Now, that guy, you got to be careful with him, but no, he's a great guy, great friend. And ER, if you see this, thanks for being such a good friend. But no, he's not the only one. Skip Boyer, always faithful holster, great guy. And I don't want to start trying to name too many names and leave some of you out. Jeff, Tim, Ben Crane, fabulous people. I've enjoyed meeting so many of you in person and talking to you and getting to know, to the point that, we know like families and kids, and the conversations go way beyond, whatever firearm topic I'm talking about on any given video. We're asking, how so-and-so. People ask about my daughter and how she's doing in school. A lot of you are familiar with the music she used to put up on the videos, or that I use for theme music. My son, same thing. And I've dropped the theme music over time, not because I didn't like it, not at all. But I was trying to shorten videos because so many people have very short attention spans. And years ago, I felt that to have a recognized YouTube channel, you had to have some kind of an intro, because everybody had an intro. And a lot of these were done by people that have a lot greater knowledge of computer graphics and what have you than I do. So I never had anything that was like, bullets flying through the air, or, whatever, any kind of great animated intro. And what I did was the video montage of just past clips from my videos, and I would use my daughter's music during that intro, or eventually I would use my son's music that he had recorded during those intros, which I loved. I love them to this day. But again, I was trying to shorten the videos because so many people just don't, they'll either skip past that, or they don't want to watch the video because it's X number of minutes long or whatever. And I think I felt too like I had kind of established myself to the point that I didn't necessarily need that anymore to try to show myself as a legitimate, YouTube content creator. So I've discontinued that now. Probably it's been over a year, I would say, since I stopped using them. And I don't think that it's hurt the channel any, but I got kind of off topic there. But what I was saying is, a lot of people would ask about my daughter. They're familiar with her music. She is attending the School of Music at her university. This is going to be her second year. That's going to start here in a few weeks. And she has changed her major a couple of times. She is now going to be majoring in music composition. And this child, that she was just doing it in the beach condo here a little while ago. She sits around and composes music on her laptop computer, and then she'll play it, and it's just fabulous. I mean, she's got a talent that I just almost can't comprehend. And my son has the same talent. He'll pick up a guitar, and he was like this years ago. He'd pick up an instrument and just start playing, and it's just fabulous. And wherever they got that talent from, it was not from me. I'm the guy that would get called into work to deal with scary, nasty people, and if somebody thought shooting was going to need to happen, I would get called in for that. But definitely no kind of creative talent or anything else. That was something that was a gift to my children, and I am happy and proud of both of them. And probably my biggest hope is that they are never going to have to deal with some of the people that I have spent my life having to deal with. But anyway, again, a lot of you are familiar with my family. I'm familiar with your family, and that close relationship that we all have really means more to me than any ad revenue or anything else. So again, thank you to all of you. And now let me jump back on here and see where the comments are going, because some of you are probably saying, shut up, I'm tired of hearing what you're saying. Yeah, Grumpy Tactical Viking, we've talked on more than one occasion. Good conversation. Ray Bodie quit watching some, and that's unfortunate. So many people out there have a ton of knowledge, but I just think it's important to maintain that that relationship, that dialogue. I try to do it as best I can. I try to respond to comments when I get them, just to maintain that, because if somebody takes the time to send a question or make a comment or whatever, I think it's only polite to try to respond to that. And I know I'm doing a horrible job on these comments. I've been rambling on. How long have we been gone here? 42 minutes. And I've hardly stopped talking the whole time. So I hope you'll all forgive me for that. But since I'm having such a hard time reading the comments, that would be part of it too, or part of the reason anyway. So what do we got coming up? Let's change the topic and try to make this a little bit more upbeat again. As I said, I have got the videos coming up next Saturday and the following Wednesday. And I was able to get these all done before we left to come down here. So the last few weeks, before we left, I was, churning out videos like a fiend. And by the way, when you see some of the videos coming up, you might not see a few of the editing flares that I've been trying to do recently. I've been trying to change that too. And some of you too, let me know what you think of this. I've tried to change, showing different camera angles in the video and trying to change up the viewer experience for all of you. So especially when I'm in long parts where I'm talking and talking and talking, kind of like I'm doing now, at least the image you're looking at changes, or maybe it goes from this angle to this angle or something else. And it took me a while to get a feel for that, because when I first started trying to do it, I think I overdid it. And if you go back not too many videos, it's almost like schizophrenic, where it's going from here to here to here to here. I think I've got a better handle on it now, and I'm making those transitions and those cuts, I think, a little bit more logically and a little less frantically. Maybe that's a good way to say it. And I kind of like that. I like that when I'm watching it and I'm talking and I'm going on about whatever, and all of a sudden now we get a cropped view, or now we go to, maybe I change topics slightly and I go to a slightly different camera angle, and I like that. So let me know what you guys think of that. I say you guys, all of you guys, you ladies, and all others. Trying to be inclusive here, whichever gender you associate with today. But I've been doing some of that stuff, but you won't see that in a couple of these videos that are coming up soon, because like I said, I was just trying to get those done and get those uploaded and ready to go before we ended up leaving, and I just wasn't able to make videos anymore. Today's video on the Olight, I was able to get produced, and that was one They sent me that light several weeks ago. They said it was going to be released to the market today, and it was going to coincide with their sale that they're having and all that. So I got that light probably a week and a half ago. Got the video made, got it edited, got it uploaded. And by the way, I really do like that light. In fact, I ordered another one, or actually, to start at 8 o'clock this morning. And apparently, based on what I'm seeing on the Olight store, it doesn't start till 8 o'clock this evening here on the East Coast. So I'm waiting very impatiently to order my second Olight to go with that first one I got, because I want to have one in the shop and I want to have another one upstairs for those times that the lights, go out because of a storm, or I have to take the dog out or whatever, and I want to walk downstairs to the shop, get my light, and go outside. I want to have another one. And I thought about ordering a third one for my vehicle, but I thought that was getting a little carried away, so I decided to not get one for the Jeep. But I don't even know why I started talking about that. I guess just saying that I was able to get that video done, and I was cranking out these videos. When I get back, I have got a ton of video ideas when I get back, and some of it is going to depend on availability of certain items to be able to get some of these. I've got a great idea for a winter project once it gets cold enough that I can't go outside and do things. Again, that's going to depend a lot on availability of time and the size of my pocketbook when I start getting ready to get into that project. I've got a video review that the product is in. I've been notified that it was in. I am really, really, really looking forward to this one, and I'm going to have a hard time containing my excitement until that one comes around. So stay tuned for some great things coming up, or at least I think we're going to do some great things. And again, from the things I was talking about before, the channel is not going to be vanishing tomorrow. I hope, at least not from my doing. Now, if YouTube wakes up tomorrow and decides they're done with HR Funk, then maybe the channel will go away tomorrow. And if that were to happen, I've said this in the past, if I wake up one day and the channel's gone, and you wake up one day and the channel's gone with nothing from me whatsoever, I would not do that to all of you. If that happens, then something has occurred with YouTube or Google or what have you. Go to Rumble, because I will definitely be uploading something on the Rumble channel to explain what's going on and why all of a sudden the channel has ceased to exist on YouTube. But yeah, I would not leave you all high and dry like that to just wonder what happened. I'm not sure, and I've missed something here, Psalm Courier, about Brent0331. I used to watch his videos. I didn't realize he was still around. Yeah, another Marine on there making videos and churning them out. He used to do a lot of videos on camouflage patterns, and back when I was still an operational sniper. I never like to say I'm not a sniper anymore, just I was operational at one point, and now I'm less operational than I used to be. But anyway, camouflage and concealment was a big concern of mine, and I used to watch a lot of his videos that he produced on camouflage patterns, looking at the different ones. And there was one nice thing about my assignment. Depending upon the operational requirements, I could choose basically whatever camouflage or whatever uniform that I thought was best for that particular operation. The rest of the people on the team really didn't have that, but they didn't have that need either. So they were wearing whatever the issued uniform was for the tactical team on that particular day. But I could wear anything from a ghillie suit to whatever camouflage or what have you that I thought was going to be best. So that was nice and that was fun. And like I said, I used to enjoy his videos for looking at the different types of camouflage and how it played during the different times of the year and with the different types of vegetation and all that. And of course, sometimes as a sniper, the camouflage, if it's an urban setting, is to look like, somebody else walking down the street who's not a sniper.
and sometimes having to figure out creative ways to disguise, rifles and equipment and whatever to be able to get into a certain location and take up a position. So it's not always, camouflage and gluing twigs to your hat and things like that. Sometimes it's other things. Not sure how I got on that topic. Oh, Brent 0331 and gun. Oh, grunt proof. I'm not familiar with that person. Wonder if some of YouTube don't like you because of your LEO and military gear. Probably. I mean, that's absolutely possible. Psalm Courier, we can still find you. I hope so. Wonder how they avoid the censure. I don't know. And again, a lot of it comes down to how various content creators are making their revenue. If they have a ton of Patreon contributors, then that might be. I've got the channel memberships here on YouTube, which is basically the same thing as Patreon. The reason I went the membership route instead of the Patreon route is because it simplifies my life. Basically, I've got one stream of revenue coming in, so I don't have to, for tax purposes or whatever, I don't have to worry about, the amount that I'm getting from Patreon and the amount that I'm getting from YouTube memberships and the amount that I'm getting from ad revenue and all that kind of thing. It's one pile of money, if you will, coming in to simplify my life. But the memberships and to my channel members, thank you. I have about 50 channel members, and it fluctuates a little bit. I always hate to lose a member. I don't know if maybe they're something I say in a video has offended someone. They've decided not to be a member. I don't know if maybe their financial situation has changed and they can't continue to contribute on the memberships or whatever. But I really, really hate to lose channel members. But month in, month out, I have about 50 channel members, and they make a monthly contribution to the channel, and I cannot thank you all enough. Thank you. If anyone else is interested in becoming a channel member, underneath each video, there's a little thing that says join, and it will walk you through joining and becoming a member. There are the other things that I do on the live streams like this. There are those super chat things where somebody can make a contribution if they want to during the course of the live stream. And I believe now you can even make a contribution in the comments section of the YouTube videos. If you're I say you just as a not you specifically, but people, if anyone wants to make a contribution that way, they can also do it. And there's another name for that, YouTube thanks or something like that. But that along with whatever ad revenue I do or don't get coming in every month is what is my income, if you will, from YouTube. A lot of the other channels, if they have a ton of Patreon supporters, or they're making money through their reviews or whatever. I mean, I have a feeling that there are some channels that are to the point where, certain retailers or whoever, you see a lot of these with like ads during videos for certain gunsmithing schools or what have you. Those things that are presented by the content creators are almost certainly earning them something from the persons that they are placing that ad for, or doing that whatever you want to call it, that spot for. And somebody just made a contribution, and it is Jeff Tim. Jeff, thank you very much for that Please, I was not trying to solicit contributions. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. Yeah,
I wasn't trying to do that. I was just, talking about this. But anyway, like, the gunsmithing school spots and things like that, those creators are almost certainly getting paid something for that. Some creators are making money on their merchandise. They've got T-shirts, they've got koozies, they've got whatever that they're selling, uh, and they're making money that way. So, you know, like I said a while ago, everybody has got their own way that they're trying to make money through these videos and with their viewers. Mine is the old-fashioned way, like the old E.F. Hutton commercial. I'm trying to earn it through quality content that all of you get something out of, and the ad revenue that generates from YouTube, or that anyone wants to contribute. So thank you, Jeff. Thanks to the channel members. Thanks to anyone who makes a contribution to the channel. I so thoroughly appreciate that. I tell people all the time, I have the best viewers on YouTube, and I completely believe that. To whatever degree any of you think you get something from the videos or the interaction or whatever from the channel, I get far more from you than you could ever imagine. And again, thank you very much. And let me back up. This has got to look silly as can be on your end when I'm putting these glasses on and leaning up here to try to read these. Sergeant Major Trap, yes, I am on the beach here at Folly Beach, South Carolina, enjoying myself. That is the Atlantic Ocean that you can see through the rail back behind me there. I am about 150 yards, I would say, from the beach, or from the surf, rather. I was out there earlier today. I'm going to go back out there later this afternoon. Just really trying to enjoy myself down here. I'm trying to relax and, I don't know, enjoy time with my family. By the way, the reason I'm here right now is because my wife and daughter went to the Barbie movie. My wife's like, "Do you want to go to the Barbie movie?" No. And I wasn't trying to be mean or trying to be a jerk or anything. I just have no desire whatsoever to see the Barbie movie. By the way, Greg from Lion Quest Fitness put something up a day or two ago about a movie I do want to see called Old Henry. I guess a Western that's recently been released. And love Westerns. I've loved Westerns all my life. Looks like a good movie from the preview that I saw. So I definitely want to watch that movie. So there's my movie referral for anybody that might be interested. We did see, what did we see about it? Oh, we saw Oppenheimer. And not a bad flick. Maybe a little on the long side. I felt like, maybe toward the end it was kind of dragging a little bit, but not bad. I'm a history buff. I enjoy, learning about, all kind of, World War II history is one of my favorite time periods to learn about. And it just seems like there is so much to learn. And I think part of the reason is, as I was growing up, and I think I recognize this more now than I did when I was younger, those events that took place, in the early 20th century, building up to World War II, during World War II, the aftermath of World War II, so created the world that I knew as a child and as a young man, and even continued, to the time that I was in the Marine Corps. My being in Korea was an echo of World War II and the aftermath of World War II. When I was in Japan, I visited Hiroshima. Somewhere I've got a picture of me standing in front of the atomic dome, a whole lot younger and a whole lot less wise, but a picture of me there. And I think I have a much greater appreciation for how that shaped the world in those years before I was born, and what I grew up in. I've gotten a little older and a little wiser,
and I've seen a few things, and I've learned a few things, and I have a much greater appreciation for that time period than I used to. And some of it might have to do too with the fact that I look at the present and I wonder how many of those World War II vets, if they could be around now, would look around at what the world has become, what the country has become, and thought, I fought for this. I don't know. I suppose I'm getting negative again. Maybe it's got something to do with my not quite 100% Coke Zero drink here. But I remember when I went to Normandy years ago, and we stayed at the Utah Beach Hotel. Nice place, and a portion of Utah Beach is now a golf course. And I looked at, I got up. We were there on, let's see, what year were we there? I think it was 2016, 2015. I can't remember now, but while staying there, I got up on June 6th and walked out of the hotel onto the golf course. And I thought, I wonder what so many of those guys who were killed during the invasion would think that a portion of the beach is now a golf course. Maybe they'd be happy about that. Maybe they would be happy that they created a world where people can now go out and enjoy a leisure time activity. Or again, would they be thinking, I fought for this? I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel if I were them. There's probably no way that I can put myself in their place. No way that I can put myself in the place of those veterans who came home but might not be with us anymore, as to what the world has become now and what our country has become now. But it is something I think about from time to time. And going down through here. Vietnam, 1968, 1969. Albert Michael, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, Albert. And that's something there was a gentleman who used to teach at the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy. And one time that I was down there, he said that whenever he had a Vietnam vet go through training, he always made a point of saying thank you and welcome home. And that kind of resonated with me because I thought back at the time about how many of our Vietnam veterans didn't come home to that welcome that they should have gotten. So I kind of took a cue from that instructor down there, and I've tried to do the same thing over the years. So thank you for your service and welcome home. Sammy Boy, definitely a strange thought. Weird to see the country change over time on almost any level. I agree. No, I agree with you, Grubby Tactical Viking. As far as it seems like such a different country than I grew up in. In so many ways, when I was a kid, everybody was patriotic. Even if they disagreed on, politics, Republicans, Democrats, whatever, everybody loved the country. Everybody wanted to see the U.S. succeed. Everyone wanted really our allies to do well. Great Britain, Australia, whatever. Maybe it's because we had a common enemy in those days. Maybe it's because there was that constant fear generated by the Cold War that caused us all to rally to the flag, if you will. I don't know, but it just seems like since the 1990s we've been on a divergent course, and the country is so divided now that I don't see a harmonious end. And I hate that. I feel like I'm being so negative in this live stream, and I don't mean to. But the only way the country comes back together amicably at this point is for one side or the other to completely capitulate and
and say, you know what, you're right. However you want to do it, that's fine. We give up. And I just don't see that happening. Uh, I just don't. And again, I'm sorry to be so negative. Psalm Courier, I wonder if it was from the feeling of despotism of Rome and Europe. This was a biblical nation, and now they all believe they're just, I've wondered about that. Is it the fall of Judeo Christian beliefs in our society? Is that part of it? Is it just the embracing of whatever and they're probably the same thing, truthfully. Whatever someone wants to do, there are no limits. No one is allowed to say anything is wrong or improper or illegal or immoral or whatever, because that's somehow imposing your morality, your beliefs, whatever, on other people. I don't know. I think that is related. I don't think there's any way around that. I agree with you, Jeff. I agree absolutely. And Bill Clinton is the poster boy for what you're saying there. Ray Bodie, you're being real negative. Or wait a second. Being real not negative. Okay, thank you. Russ Michael will never give up the ship. Good for you. Never trust hypocrites, religious or not. Yeah, there's something probably to be said there. And we have been going at this now for how long? Let's see here. Put my glasses back on. An hour and 7 minutes. And that has just flown by. I hope you've all enjoyed this. Hope I haven't been too negative. Hope we got something entertaining out of it. I have thoroughly enjoyed the chat. I don't know. We'll keep going for a little while longer. I have a little bit more of my not 100% Diet Coke left, or Coke Zero rather. So I got a little bit longer till I have to have a refill. Ate at a wonderful restaurant last night. In fact, it's right behind. I don't even know if it really qualifies as a restaurant. I can't think of the name of it, but it's an old beach house that has been transformed into a outside bar, restaurant, what have you. And their fare is sort of Mexican / Central American. And I got a dish. I'm trying to think what this thing was called. A reparta. I'm not saying it right, but my, was it good? It was sort of like a flatbread taco with spicy ground beef and jalapenos and lettuce and one thing and another inside. Oh my, was that good! And they had draft beer that was relatively inexpensive. This place is nothing for atmosphere. It looks like a good the next good breeze coming off the ocean looks like it would knock this place down. But just fun. They had live music out there. Who was a guy with actually two guys, one with an acoustic guitar, one with an electric guitar, playing. Can't wait for the noise to get by. Playing their own music, stuff that they had written themselves. Fun, good music, good time. But that was great. I think tonight we're going to eat here in the condo. Mimi's got some crab cakes that she bought at the local store. We've got some stuffed jalapenos. Got what else do we have in there? Got stuff for a salad. So I'm making myself hungry sitting here talking about this stuff. But that's going to be a good time. We'll just hang out here, have a great meal, maybe go for a walk out on the pier. There's a pier over here for any of you that are not familiar with Folly Beach. And they just redid it all. The last year or two, it's been under construction. And it's about a 300-foot pier, or no, not 300 feet, 300 yard, or something like that.
500 foot maybe is probably closer to it. That points almost due southwest out of the Atlantic Ocean, where we can walk out and sit at the end. Nice breeze coming in off the ocean. We walked out there this morning when we first woke up. Got each of us got a cup of coffee and walked out there, sat underneath the shade of the pavilion with the breeze coming in. Very, very relaxing. Some dolphins out there swimming around. So, that kind of thing is just wonderful here. Again, I cannot say enough good things about Folly Beach. If you're looking for a place in South Carolina to visit and be able to relax and enjoy yourself, again, very family type atmosphere, not nearly as built up as Myrtle Beach or some of the big commercial locations. So there's my bit for Folly Beach. I'm making everyone hungry. Sorry about that. Making myself hungry. But no, that was great. What else do I have to tell you about? What other adventures have we gone on down here? Not this time around, but we've gone on some boat tours out the Folly Beach is Folly Beach is Folly Beach is a barrier island, and we've got the marsh behind us with the creeks through it and all that. So we've gone out on boat trips through there before, looking at going on dolphin tours and one thing and another. That's fun. Charleston, if you've never visited the city of Charleston, South Carolina, is just fabulous. I was talking before about my interest in history. Charleston is, I'm trying to think when it was founded. In the early 1700s. Charleston has been around since longer than longer than the United States existed. And there is just tons of historical things to see there. You can go on carriage rides. It is very much the old South, if you will. Museums and Civil War history and just tons and tons of different things. So great town. And if you want to go see the Barbie movie like Mimi and Samantha have done, you can also do that. Do any fishing? No, I am not a fisherman. I never have been a fisherman. When I was growing up, a lot of my friends like to go fishing, and I just never cared for it. It's a great place to go. The pier that I was talking about is known for its fishing, and people catch everything there from guppies to sharks. So that's great if you enjoy fishing, but I'm just not into fishing. I've often said if I could shoot the fish, if I could, stay there with a rifle on the pier and shoot the fish and then reel them in, I'd probably like it more. But just not a fisherman. Ray Bodie's been to Charleston, loves Charleston, yes. Jeff H. hunting. I've never gone hunting in South Carolina. If any of you follow Black Rifle here on YouTube, his real name is Rick. Rick is he's another person I met through YouTube. He has come to visit me here before. He does wildlife, what's the word? It's like nuisance wildlife removal. That's not the right term. Forgive me, Rick. I can't think right now what it's called. But basically, there's a problem here in South Carolina with wild hogs and coyotes and other pests that do tremendous damage to people's property and their resources. Rick, his job is to go out and reduce these wild hogs and coyotes and things like that. So he goes out year long, and he has stands and he shoots the hogs and things like that. And then he turns around and he donates the meat from those wild hogs to like homeless shelters and things like that. So it's a great program. But I've always thought it'd be fun to go out with Rick and go hunting down here. He's a few hours away. He's in North Augusta, South Carolina, which is actually just north of the Georgia line. But maybe someday I'll make it out with Rick and we'll do some hunting. That'd be fun. But so far I've not done any hunting down here. Whitetail and black bear hunting in North Carolina. Yeah, I know that on the western North Carolina. And when I lived, this is years ago when I was in the Marine Corps, lived in eastern North Carolina, we would see deer on base periodically. And the thing I noticed about them, and I don't know if it's different in the higher elevations in western North Carolina, but the deer we had on the eastern side of the state were very, very small compared to what I was used to in Ohio. And I always wondered if that had something to do with, the Ohio deer have acres and acres and acres of, corn and farm crops to eat. And I always wondered if because they don't have quite so much of that down here, if the deer just don't grow to be as big. I don't know. I'm not a wildlife expert, so some of you that are more in tune to some of that might know more than I do. But you'll have to let me know, Ray, if there are bigger deer in the western part of the state. Jeff H, do some rifle episodes. Yeah, I want to. That's one of the things that I want to do before the end of the year, before it starts to get cold in Ohio again. I want to get out to the bigger rifle range and do some rifle videos. I Because of my schedule and one thing and another, it's been more difficult to do that here recently. I didn't make it back to Camp Perry again this year. Um, and again, part of it is things like this. I'm in South Carolina right now. The national matches are going on in Ohio, and it just seems like one thing or another has kept me from getting some of the rifle content up that I want to get. But I want to get back to doing that soon. Oh, Ray's in Eastern North Carolina. Sorry about that. .454 Kazul for hog hunting. Well, that would certainly do the job. Um, I'm not entirely sure you would have to have something like that, but that would certainly do it. Mike Hyatt, Ohio deer are way better maintained populations. Here in the South, there are a lot of deer with such high population. They're considerably smaller. That could be. Ohio, and I didn't know this until I was researching it years ago. There were a number of years, and this was going back to the early 1900s, where Ohio did not have a deer season because the herd had essentially been eliminated. And then slowly they've repopulated it, and through wildlife management practices over the years, we have a great deer herd in Ohio now. There are many, many more deer now than there were when I was a kid. When I was a kid, growing up, if you went deer hunting and you actually saw a deer, that was something. Nowadays, deer are plentiful, and it's good hunting in Ohio. So if any of you are looking for a place to go deer hunting, Ohio has a lot of deer. Now, some of our hunting regulations are a little obnoxious, but there are a lot of deer in Ohio, and good-sized deer. Sergeant Major Trapp, today would go to jail. Largest black bear here in the U.S. Live in eastern North Carolina. I didn't know that. In the 500-pound category. Waiting for pulls down for wild boar. Your 444 or 35 Remy. Yeah. Yes. You know what? 444 is a great cartridge. I love that rifle. I have taken many, many deer. Can't wait for the noise to get by. With the 44 Magnum, out of handguns and now out of carbines as well. So I've never taken one with the 444, but I have no doubt that it would do a great job. And I would love to be able to use my 35 Remington for deer hunting in Ohio, but because it's a bottleneck cartridge, and this is one of those weird regulations I was talking about, it is not permissible under Ohio law to use for deer hunting. I could shoot a groundhog with it, and that's fine, but I can't use it for deer hunting, and that's just annoying as it can be. I'd like to be able to use my 30-30 for deer hunting, but again, that's another one that's just not permitted under Ohio law. All right, we are up to an hour and 19 minutes. I'm going to keep the stream going to an hour and a half. So we got another 11 minutes. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to throw in there in the next 11 minutes, I will try to get to it. But this has been a lot of fun. This was pretty much exactly what I was hoping for this afternoon.
I knew I was going to have some free time with Mimi and Samantha going to the movie, and this has been great. It's also starting to get a little warm. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I am wearing my Hawaiian shirt. I don't know if any of you saw this, but this is mandatory. Anybody from Ohio that visits anywhere in a tropical location, it is mandatory to wear an Ohio shirt or a Hawaiian shirt. So I am feeding into the stereotype. Mimi got me this shirt, by the way, and it's a nice shirt. I enjoy wearing it. Nice and light. It's as cool as it can be here, although probably the temperature right now is in the low 90s. I'm in the shade, which is nice, but I am starting to sweat through my shirt, so I'm going to go back into the air conditioning here shortly. Yeah, I know 30-30 is great for deer hunting, but not permissible in Ohio because it's a neck down case. Yes, and flip flops too. Absolutely. In fact, I put my tennis shoes on today when we went for a walk. I talked about walking out on the pier. That's the first time I've had tennis shoes on for like 3 days. So that was nice. And now I've got flip flops on again. Got my Hawaiian shirt on, so I am chilling. The only thing it's missing is the Jimmy Buffett movie or music, which I'll turn on as soon as the live stream ends. .35 Legend, haven't tried that yet. That's one of those cartridges I really need to try out one of these days, which is ballistics, kind of similar to a 30-30. I don't know that the bullet is as efficient or effective as a 30-30, but sooner or later, I'll give it a try. Just like sooner or later, I'll try the 6.5 Creed. After it falls out of favor and it's not fashionable anymore, that's about the time that I'll try the 6.5 Creed more. Which is kind of my claim to fly. I have never been cool or fashionable in my life. So I tell Mimi there's no reason to start now. Sammy Boyd like to hunt with your 870. Oh yeah, I've done a lot of deer hunting with 12 gauge shotguns, primarily my 870 over the years. Taking deer with that, taking deer with my muzzle loaders. So, you know, we do have our hunting implements, but anything with a bottleneck rifle cartridge is not one of them. Need some margaritas? I'm not much of a margarita person. I don't mind tequila, but margaritas just don't do anything for me. Yeah, I would rather have like a Jim Beam and Coke, or you know, some of the beers that I like. This week I've just had here in the condo, I've just had some Yingling, which is probably my favorite lager. But I am really looking forward. We're not too far away from Oktoberfest season, and I look forward to this every year. In fact, I'll probably have a live stream once I get some good Oktoberfest beer, because all the breweries come out with their Oktoberfest that they, you know, save for, you know, the August, September, and October time. And just when it starts to get a little cooler and you have that great beer, there is just nothing quite like sitting on my back deck at home on a 68-ish degree day when the sun is shining, having a beautiful Oktoberfest beer. Just absolutely love that. So I'm looking forward to that, looking forward to fall. The only bad thing about fall, and all of you in the northern U.S. know this, is what comes after fall. And unfortunately, we're going to be dealing with that in the not too distant future. Crown Royal with ice. Jeff 8, time to come there, get the girl, drink drunk with HR. Drinks with umbrellas. Grumpy Tactical Viking, never taken a deer with a shotgun. When I was a kid, that was the only legal hunting implement in Ohio, were shotguns and muzzle loading rifles. It wasn't until the early 90s that handgun hunting with straight wall cartridges was permitted. But my first deer ever I took with a single shot Stevens 12 gauge shotgun.
And I don't know if I ever told this story before, but it's pretty good. I was 14 maybe, and hunting with my dad, and he stood me in the corner of this field. There was a woods behind me, and he went to the other end of this field. So I'm standing there with my shotgun, and I don't know if my dad scared this deer or whatever, but my brother shot at it. He was in the other corner of the field, and it turned a deer, and he came running, and I'm seeing this deer coming loping through toward me through this field, and I got my 12 gauge shotgun, my single shot shotgun, and he finally gets there, and I'm following this running deer with my shotgun, and squeeze the trigger, boom, and the deer drops. I was like, yeah, I got a deer, and all of a sudden the deer jumped back up. Hey, wait, they're not supposed to do that. And it took off running again. So I cocked the hammer on my trusty shotgun and squeezed the trigger again, forgetting that I needed to put a new shell in the shotgun. So click on the empty shell in my single shot shotgun, and the deer run off. So my dad hears me yelling, I got him, whatever, comes running across the field. My dad was probably not happy about running across the field when he got there and discovered that the deer that I said I got him wasn't got because it wasn't there. He's like, where's the deer? Well, he ran that way. Why didn't you shooting it? Well, I tried. You got to put it. So my father told me all the things that fathers tell their sons after running across a field and finding there's no deer there because the son didn't put a new shell in the shotgun to fire again. Anyway, as it turned out, the deer only ran about 50 yards, and I hit him in the neck. It was a good neck shot. He dropped, bled out, found the deer, got the deer. Yay, buck. And that was my story of my first deer. But that was with a 12 gauge shotgun. And like I said, it wasn't until probably, 10 or 12 years after that Ohio legalized hunting with handguns. And then it wasn't another, it's another 10, 12 or so years until Ohio legalized hunting with rifles and carbines chambered for straight wall cartridges, but we still can't use anything with a bottleneck. Anyway, that's my story. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You guys like the story. Good. All right, folks, we are down to about 2.5 minutes left, so I'm going to start to wrap things up here. If you stayed through this entire live stream, thank you. This has been just a blast for me. I enjoy doing the live streams, and I remember back when I very first started doing these, I wasn't sure if I was going to like them. I didn't know if I was going to be good at doing them. I still don't know if I'm good at doing them. But if you stayed here through this entire 90-minute live stream, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You all are the ones that make the YouTube experience for me. I have said that on a number of occasions. I'll say it again. I have the greatest viewers on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for 10.5 years worth of support on the YouTube channel. You're phenomenal. Again, the channel is not going away anytime soon by my doing. Who knows what YouTube might do. But, as long as I can continue to make the kind of content that all of you enjoy watching, and I can keep it entertaining and I can keep it informative, I am going to continue to do so. And I thank you all for sticking with me and giving me all the support that you have. To my channel members, a special thank you for, month after month after month, making that monetary contribution to the channel to help support things. And I think I am a horrible person for having channel memberships because I don't have merchandise. I don't have, all these little perks that some people do for their people that are either channel members or they are Patreon members or whatever. A lot of people have all these great, giveaways and one thing and another. I am horrible for that. I know it. I apologize. Thank you for sticking with me anyway. To everyone who watches the videos, subscribes to the channel, comments on the videos, gives a thumbs up or whatever. Thanks to all of you. I try to respond to as many comments as I can. I one way or another respond to the vast number of them. Sometimes, I'll just give a heart icon. And before I've said, if you see a heart icon on something, you think, wow, I can't believe HR loves this comment. The heart icon to me doesn't necessarily mean I love the comment. I might not even agree with the comment. The heart icon is my way of saying, I appreciate the comment. Thank you for watching the video. And that's the only means I have to show that it was me who responded to that comment, because the thumbs up, anybody can give a thumbs up to a comment, but only I can give the heart icon. So if you see that response, it's because I want that person to know that I appreciate them watching the video and I appreciate them making a comment. I don't necessarily agree with that comment or anything that was said there. So that's my clarification on that. So again, thanks to all of you. Thanks for sticking with me during this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, this live stream is going to be up on YouTube. You can continue to comment on it in the comment section of the live stream. Thanks again. I'll see you again soon. And until next time, everyone, good shooting and bye-bye for now.